Hey guys, and welcome. I'm Kate, and this is my psoas flow designed to help lengthen out our hip flexors from sitting or riding bikes or doing a lot of running. They tend to tighten up, right? So this flow is going to help you make some space. Grab a couple of blocks if you've got them, books, water bottles, whatever works. Find a quiet spot, roll out your mat, and I'll see you in a few. Okay guys, we're gonna get started just sitting for a moment to kind of gather. So close your eyes, relax your shoulders. If you wanna sit cross-legged, if you wanna sit on a block that you've got nearby, then by all means go for it. Take a moment just to close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths. And whatever it took for you to get here today, whatever it took for you to roll out your mat to make some time, just see if you can slow down your breath. Let your mind come back into your body so you can make some time for you. And so you can move mindfully through this practice. And then from here, you're going to just take a moment to drop your chin to your chest and shake your head gently side to side. Inhale your right ear up and over your right shoulder. And exhale, roll down through the middle. And inhale up to the left side. And then down through the middle. And back up through, lift your head, open your eyes. Okay, we're going to get right to it, so come on to the table. With your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees under your hips. So gonna roll through just 3 rounds of cat and cow to loosen up any tightness, any residual tension in your back, in your shoulders, maybe even in your neck. And exhale. And after this exhalation, you're going to come back to a neutral spine and engage your abdominal muscles. Pull them in. Take your right leg, kick it straight back behind you, and push gently through your heel. And staying strong through your core, float your right leg up. Bend your knee and press your heel up toward the ceiling. So fire up that right side glute. And then just start to make some circles with that knee. Out and around. Whatever direction works. Just be aware of what's happening in your outer left hip. Try not to let it sag out to the side, but keep it drawn in to the center. And then roll them in the other direction. Nice, smooth circles. Yeah. And then you're going to stretch that right leg straight back behind you. Inhale. And when you exhale, step your foot up between your thumbs. And if you want blocks underneath your hands, to make this a more gentle stretch, then grab the blocks and place them there. Sink your hips, lift your chest. Inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to rock your hips back. Just work to straighten your right leg. Inhale, rock forward, sink your hips, lift into your chest. And exhale, stretch it back. One more of those. Inhale, rock forward. And exhale, draw it back. And then rock it forward again. Come high onto your fingertips. Sink the weight of your hips down and lift your chest. Draw your low belly in, take your hands onto your right thigh. Keep your core strong here. And as you lunge forward into this right knee, fire up your left side glute. And that'll give you a little more juice into the left side hip flexor. Inhale, reach your arms up. Full breath. And when you exhale, take your hands to the floor, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Inhale, get long here. And then when you exhale, we're gonna step back, downward facing dog. And it's our first one, so pedal it out a bit, side to side. And shake out your head. right, and then lower your knees back down to the mat. Let's do the same thing on the left side. So bring your hands back underneath you. Take your left leg, reach it back, push through your heel. All right, strong core, lift it up, bend your left knee, press your heel up toward the sky. And circle it out. Mindful of this outer right hip now, right? Make sure it's not blonking out to the side. Yep. All right, and then circle in the other direction. Opening up those hips a little bit. Getting some of the creaks and the cracks out. And then stretch that left leg straight back behind you, inhale. And when you exhale, step it up between your thumbs. Oh, and sink your hips. Lift your chest, inhale. And exhale, pull back gently. Work into that left side hamstring. Inhale, rock forward, sink through the hips. And pull back when you exhale. One more, inhale. And exhale. And you're going to inhale, come back into your lunge. Sink a little deeper into that left foot. Both hands onto the top of your thigh. Lift your low belly, scoop your tailbone, fire up this right side glute, and then sink, sink, sink down. Yeah. Take your arms, reach them up. Inhale. Exhale, let your hands pop down to the floor. Right toes tuck. You're going to step forward. Uttanasana, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Press into the floor, come all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, inhale. And drag your hands down through center. Inhale, out and up, reach. Exhale and fold, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And when you exhale, you're gonna fold. Step your right leg back. Big step to the back of the mat. Sink down through your hips. And now we're gonna take this right foot and squeegee it back. Maybe, I don't know, a half an inch, maybe a full inch. Be bold. And then we're gonna drop the right knee straight down. So now we should have a longer lunge action going on here. And we're gonna do the same thing by nice and easy, sink the hips, lift your chest. Yep, and then both hands on this left thigh. Keep the low belly lifted, keep your tailbone scooping. Fire up that right side glute again. This time you're gonna push gently into your thigh with both hands and lift your chest up. Deep breath in. And when you exhale, you're gonna release your hands to the mat. I'm gonna tuck these right toes under and just hop forward, maybe, I don't know, 2 inches. So we're gonna make a shorter stance and then drop your right knee again. So when you come up, your shoulders are over your hips or over your knee, and we're in this like straight line, 90-degree angle with this left leg. And again, I'm gonna do a lot of scooping. So take that tailbone, lengthen it down. Feel your pubic bone kind of drop toward your belly button. Left hand's gonna stay right where it is. Take your right arm, reach it up alongside your ear, lengthen up through your right side, and then just tilt yourself over to the left. Yep. Inhale, come on back up. Exhale, both hands to the floor, step it back, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, float forward into plank. This time you're gonna lower down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Come all the way onto your belly. Untuck your toes, roll the shoulders back, baby cobra, inhale. Exhale, release, tuck those toes, downward facing dog. And then gaze to your fingertips and walk your feet forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale and fold. Press the floor away, rise. Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale. And then exhale, hands down through prayer. We'll do it again. Inhale, come out and up. And dive on your exhale. Lengthen out. Inhale. And then fold. We're going to step this left leg back. So just a regular lunge to start, right? Sink your hips. And then you're going to take this foot and shimmy it back a bit. And then drop your left knee to the mat. Okay, here we are. Take a second. Oh goodness. All right, both hands come on up. Low belly lifts. Keep your pubic bone scooping under so you get a nice tilt in the pelvis. And then see if you can get this left glute now to fire as you sink hands onto that right thigh. You're gonna press the thigh away and lift yourself up. Like you could, almost like you're peeling your chest back away from your thigh. Inhale here. And then exhale, release your hands down. Gonna lift the left knee and hop the back foot in a couple inches. So when you drop your left knee, this time you come up and we're in our straight line, stacked one on top of the other. Right hand to the top of the right thigh, left arm alongside your ear. Get long through your left side when you inhale, reach it up. And when you exhale, you're gonna tilt yourself over to the right side, keeping this nice tilt of the pelvis. Feel where the top of your left thigh bone lengthens out of the hip and down into the knee. Inhale, back up. Hands to the mat, step it forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. And press the floor away. Come out and up. Reach it up. Oh yeah. And bring your hands down through prayer. Okay. Inhale, reach it out and up. We're gonna dive forward, Uttanasana. Hinge in those hips. Lengthen your spine, nice strong legs as you reach your heart forward. And then fold, plant your hands, and you can walk. If you feel like hopping, you can totally hop it back, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, you're gonna take your right leg, sweep it up, stretch it back. When you exhale, stack your right hip open on top of the left, and then bend your knee. Keep your shoulders square, so that left shoulder wants to dip, but keep it lifted. And now you wanna feel that right heel get super heavy toward your left side glute there as you sweep this knee up toward the sky. Okay, inhale, stretch the leg out. Gonna square off your hips. When you exhale, step this right foot to the outside of your right hand for a little lizard variation here. You're gonna sink the hips. Okay, so now you wanna keep the weight of your pelvis dropping down, but don't let your left thigh buckle, right? So the hips drop, but now you're gonna fire up that left quad. That's gonna lift up. Push back through your left heel and then stretch your chest forward. Like you were gonna get even taller from this back heel into the top of your head. Yep. And if you want to, you can lower the forearms down. Make it a different pose entirely. Keep the left side firing. That left thigh is gonna keep firing. Press into the ball of your right foot. And then hands come back underneath you if you've lowered down. Drop this back knee. Shift your weight into your left hand. You're gonna sweep the right hand back. We're doing a lot of sweeping and scooping today. And you're gonna grab the pinky toe edge of this left foot with your right hand. Roll the right shoulder back and sink your hips down into this space. That's it. If you want a little more juice, keep the foot flexed so the ankle is strong. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot and sink a little deeper as you roll back and lean into that left hand. Yeah. Okay, and now from here, gonna release the foot, keep your right hand to your hip, lift your back knee, and we're gonna drop onto the outer edges of both feet. Sink your hips and stretch your right hand back. Oh. And then you're gonna sweep around, right hand to the floor, walk all the way through center, pivoting the feet. So now you're facing the long edge of your mat, Prasarita Padottanasana, and fold here. Outer edges of the feet rooted down, and then the inner corners of the feet also press into the mat. And as you push through the outer edges of your feet, curl the inner edges of your thighs back behind you. So you're gonna roll them back. And just take a moment here. Gonna check out your head, your shoulders. And you're gonna come back onto your hands, walk back toward your right foot, Spin the toes open, warrior two, sweep it out and around, sink down into your feet. Soft shoulders, strong legs. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Trikonasana on your exhale, come out and over. Spin this right side rib cage underneath you as you lengthen from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Breathe. Inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to bend your front knee, windmill your left hand down to the floor. Here's where it gets a little silly. So you can grab a block if you want to. You're going to take this left hand with the block or not, bring it forward of your right foot. And we're going to shift into this right foot, drag your left foot up. When you get it up here, almost all the way, you're going to pull your left heel in toward your right side cheek there, and then grab a hold of the top of the foot. Gonna kick your foot into your hands and come into this little version of revolved Ardha Chandra Chapasana. But we're not gonna worry so much about the revolution, just working that back leg, right? So press the floor away with that right foot, kick your left foot into your hand, and feel the ball of your foot press gently up toward the sky as it kicks back. Inhale. And when you exhale, gonna slowly now release. Both hands to the floor or to blocks. Inhale, now kick your left leg straight back. When you exhale, step it back, crescent lunge, press into your feet. Come on up. Okay? So now you're gonna bring your hands to your hips and bend your left knee. And you can feel when you do that, it's automatically, here, we're gonna tie this so you can see it a little better. You automatically tilt your pelvis, right? So we're gonna bend this and then make the bowl of your pelvis so it's nice and neutral here. And you're gonna keep that now. Keep the pelvis just where it is. Don't pop up and out of the pose. Just work to straighten that left leg by lifting the left thigh. Push back through that right heel. Keep your low belly drawing in and up. Inhale, take your arms, reach them up. Exhale, both hands to the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Baby cobra, curl it up, deep breath. And then release, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Second side, left leg's gonna lift. Down dog split, inhale. When you exhale, gonna stack that left hip open. Bend your knee, let this heel just drop. But don't let your right shoulder drop. Keep that lifted so your chest is square toward the back of the mat. And then slowly start to feel that left knee point gently to the sky. No forcing here, just kind of trying to stretch it a little deeper. Then inhale, take this left leg, reach it back behind you. And when you exhale, you're gonna step it to the outside of your left hand. Staying on the hands now, sink the weight of your hips down, let them drop, but then fire up this right side. Keep it lifted. Yeah. Oh. Right thigh's on fire. Lengthen back through your right heel now and stretch forward into your chest. Try to soften your shoulders. If you want to, you can take the forearms down. Oh, goodness. Those left toes, if they need to angle out to the side a bit, by all means. Keep the lift through this right thigh. Ugh. And then come back up onto your hands. Gonna drop your right knee to the mat. Right hand comes underneath, and now you're gonna reach back. Left hand grabs the pinky toe edge. Roll toward the top of your knee. So you don't wanna be on your kneecap. You wanna be off into the top. As you lean back, roll it open. You can take the left toes, open them up, and drop toward the outer edge of your left foot, as long as you're not sinking into your outer ankle, right? You wanna keep that left foot flexed. Okay. And now you're gonna stretch this right leg back out. Keep your left hand on your hip. Lift your right knee. And then we're gonna roll to the outer edges of both feet. Outer right hip sinks toward the floor. Take your left hand and reach it out. There's Memphis, our daily dose of Memphis. Inhale, and then we're gonna spin it around all the way into your Prasarita Padottanasana. Parallel those outer edges and fold. You can walk the hands forward, drag your hips back. You can walk your hands through your legs. Breathe. Nice and easy. All right, and then walk your hands underneath you. Gonna open your left toes. Come on up, warrior two. Here we go. Sink, relax into your shoulders. Stretch energy fingertip to fingertip, but draw your arms in. That's not Memphis. All right, press into the floor. Inhale, straighten this left leg. Come out and over, Trikonasana, nice long spine as you go. Keep the rib cage drawing in. Roll your right shoulder open. Press into your feet and lengthen your spine. Inhale. And when you exhale, we're gonna windmill it down, right? Right hand comes to the mat. We're gonna spin and shift your weight forward. You can grab your block if you want, right? You're gonna take the right hand a little bit farther forward, drag it in, shift your weight onto this left foot, and then you're gonna bend your right knee, pull your heel toward your left side glute. Grab the top of your foot, Ardha Chandra Chapasana with a little revolution involved, right? Kick your foot into your hand. Stretch your chest forward and breathe. Deep breath. Keep your belly strong. Inhale. When you exhale, we're gonna release. Both hands to the floor or to the blocks. Inhale, kick it out behind you. And when you exhale, step it back. Come into a nice long lunge. Come on up. Okay, hands to your hips. Gonna scoop your tailbone under. Bend your right knee. Keep that tailbone long. Here we go. Pelvis is gonna stay right where it is, okay? Slowly now, without lifting, without coming out of it, straighten that right leg. Push back into your right heel. Take your arms, reach them up. Inhale. Full breath here. Keep working through that right leg. And then both hands come down to the mat. Oh, step it back. Downward facing dog. Shake out your head. Then let both knees drop to the mat. And take your feet, sweep them to the side. Take a seat, okay? So now we're gonna grab the block. Or your stack of bricks. Your stack of bricks, your stack of books, right? And from here, we're gonna come into a supported bridge, right? So lean back. Bend your knees, place your feet on the mat. That feels good. Stay here for a second. All right, then you're gonna push into your feet, lift your hips, and take the block under your sacrum, that bone right at the base of your spine. So you can keep it on the lower setting if you've got your block. You can take it up higher. It's entirely up to you. All right, and then from here, you're gonna pull your right knee in. Keep drawing it in, and as you do, you're gonna push your left heel out. Use your hands to keep pulling in, and as you go, push this left leg forward and down. Forward and down, anchor. Soften your shoulders, the back of your head. Inhale. And when you exhale, drop your right foot to the floor, pull your left knee into your chest. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So take your hands to that leg, pull them in, and then slide your right leg out. Keep pushing forward and toward the top of your mat with that right heel, and actively draw your left knee in. If you don't feel anything and you're on this lower level, you can always take a second and shift the block up so it's a little bit higher. Just be careful of the balance there. Inhale. And when you exhale, left foot's gonna hit the floor and you're gonna bend the right knee. And both feet on the floor here. Make sure you're comfortable. Gonna take your hands out to the sides and breathe. Close your eyes. Let yourself relax into the block. Couple of breaths here. Nice and easy. And then from here, you're gonna push into your feet, lift your hips, slide the block out and lower down. And for just a moment, feel your spine relax on the floor so it starts to neutralize. And then draw both knees in. Rock a little bit. If you want to take a Shavasana here, by all means, you can grab a blanket or a towel, roll it up, put it underneath your knees. It'll help to relax your hip flexors even more. So go for that if you want to pause the video, take a second, really rest. From here, we're going to roll to the right side and slowly press yourself up. And take a moment before you transition into whatever you've got waiting for you. Sit with a tall spine, a light heart. Bring your palms together and bow your head. And take a moment just to soak up the benefits of this practice. Hopefully you feel a little more free in your legs, maybe in your low back too. Take a moment to say a quiet thanks to your body and your breath and your practice today. And I want to say thank you for joining me and for practicing with me. I deeply appreciate it. Namaste.